Hi, everybody. This is DearMamaSal, and it is Saturday. That's an unusual day to be doing a broadcast. For those of you who don't know, DearMamaSal is a group of people who get together 3 times a week to talk about coping with life in general. And, it's not only you, but the people you know, so that not only you learn some skills, but also that you can pass them on to other people. So I'm very grateful for the viewers who regularly pop in and contribute towards the conversation and talk about real life stuff, because I don't know about the rest of you, but when you talk about real life stuff, it seems to make a lot more sense somehow. So today we're going to have a lot of fun talking about, if you like, the good, the bad, and the ugly of Christmas this year, and to get some input from everybody as to what went right and what went wrong and how they feel about it. I had a totally chaotic Christmas. Jeannie's saying, hi, Jeannie, Merry Boxing Day, you know what that is, to you. And she's saying she loves the Christmas sweater. Well, do you know something? It's one of the joys of this Christmas. I have never had a Christmas sweater. And this was gifted to me by my neighbor at the house, that I'm waiting to have them rebuild after the fire. So, hi, Jody, good to see you. And it's a Mickey Mouse one. Hang on, let me see if I can give you more of a view. Whoop. Because at the bottom it says, I can explain. And I thought that was so kind of Betty Ann and Brian to gift this to me, because they said that, if ever there was somebody who deserved to be wearing it, that was me. And they thought that I can explain sort of suited me really well. And I've got some nice stories for you about the time I spent with them in the last couple of days, because if ever, in my view, if ever there were people who make the most of their lives and just do things with the right heart, it definitely is them. And I think that's why I just enjoy them so much, because whenever I'm there, I just seem to laugh a lot, and I'm blown away by their kindness. And so today I wanted to give you all sorts of input about the last couple of days for me. Some of it's been pretty traumatic, but I wanted, not traumatic, nasty necessarily, in case any of you get concerned. But I wondered if any of you have any stories that you wanted to share about the good, the bad, or the ugly about your Christmas before I get into some of mine. So if you have any stories to share, what made you happy? What made you mad? What made you glad? And, what made you sad? Because it's really, really important. And while you're typing, if those of you who are on, while you are typing, I wanted to just say that before we get into the fun stuff of it, it is just like, what sort of sick so-and-so decides to, detonate a bomb on Christmas morning? I fail to see somehow, I don't know about the rest of you, I fail to see that picture of somebody going, oh, that's good, it's Christmas morning, and now I'm going to detonate my bomb, and totally wreck Christmas for so many people, and then also traumatize that many children. Because, as you know, those children who were displaced by this bomb threat, and not just a threat, but this bomb going off, they're going to be scarred for life with it. And so, it's really, I don't know about you, I just can't imagine them sitting there going, yay, Christmas morning. Okay, here we go. For what? For what? And somehow, I don't know if any of you agree with me, somehow it is just like, and to give everybody a 15-minute warning was that, that was fine. Thank you very much indeed. But there's part of me that goes, it doesn't take away from what you did, right? It doesn't take away from the sickness that you must have to think that that is a good idea without any reasons. Jeannie is saying that we thought our friend who shared Thanksgiving dinner with us was going to join us for the Christmas meal, but she did not. I was disappointed, but we had a great meal of baked ham, squash, broccoli, scalloped potatoes, rolls, and butter. Isn't that lovely? And I'm sure you thoroughly enjoyed it. I'm going to go through some of the stuff that I had as well. So, yes, exactly, Jeannie. What a terrible way to wake up on Christmas morning. And what I get so incensed about, it's not even angry, it's incensed that anybody thinks that that is a good thing. You know, if you're going to make a statement, I understand that you're going to make a statement, but, you know, Christmas morning, really? You know, it's just like, wow. So when you're ready, if any of you want to share, you know, what was your, what did you get for Christmas? Obviously, I got my first Christmas sweater. Can you believe that I've lived all these years and I've never had a Christmas sweater? You know, it's just like, I don't know why. Probably, you know, when I think about it, what's coming into my head, as I said, I don't know why, is that it wasn't considered something that we did in our family. I don't know if any of you can relate to that. You know, I grew up sort of Downton Abbey style, and it was sort of, that's what other people do. You know, I got news for you. It made me very happy. So I definitely will be doing more Christmas sweaters in future. And I know that some of you are going to go, but what happened to your red sweater you always wear at Christmas? I will wear it tomorrow, Jody. Because I know you always look forward to seeing it. And Jeannie's saying she kept thinking about Trisha Yearwood and Garth Brooks, who live in Nashville. Yeah, I don't think they live on that street, though. You know what I mean? I think they got a big ranch, you know, off to the side somewhere. So I'm pretty sure that they were safe. So let me go through who I can see here. Hi, Izza. Hi, Jody. Jeannie, I've already said hi to Sandy as well. Then Sandy, I was really interested, and thank you for sharing the fact that your resting heart rate also went up yesterday. I thought that was really interesting. I noticed that mine was up, and I was a little concerned about that until Sandy very kindly put up her figures. For those of you who don't know, we have a small group of people who work on accountability, and Sandy is one of them. And she put up that when she saw that my heart rate had, resting heart rate had gone up yesterday, she was kind enough to let me know that hers did as well. And the feeling was that it was probably due to, you know, the stress of trying to get ready in time. I'm just trying to see. Yeah, my resting heart rate is down to 62 this morning. How's yours doing, Sandy? All right, so that's nice. Jeannie's saying York, that's her husband, gave her 4 canisters to replace the amber set she lost in the fire. Just so that if you are new to the broadcast, Jeannie's house caught fire and was decimated. I mean, it literally, they had to take it right the way down to the basement, demolish it, and they're in the process of rebuilding it. And she's saying that her husband bought her canisters for her new kitchen when it gets finished, and some matching platters. Isn't that a lovely thing to do? Jody is saying, thank you about the red sweater, Sal. Yes, I was looking forward to you wearing it. I know that, Jody. You always look forward to me wearing it. So I thought about wearing it today and not wearing this. And I thought, no, if I'm going to wear this, this will be the day to do it, right? Don't you agree? And then tomorrow I can wear the other one, which is still seasonal, if not a Christmas sweater. Okay, so now then, I'm trying to think. First of all, I am sitting here smelling gorgeous. I'm sorry that you can't, that you don't have sniff ability because I gifted myself some perfume. Oh, I bought it to show you. This is the perfume that I have worn. I'm not getting paid, people. Just so you know. I'm not getting paid, but I have worn this perfume since the day Paloma Picasso launched it. And I now have, I did have about an eighth of a bottle left in the stuff. I also had a fire at my house. And the thing is that I thought, hey, I'm going to buy myself some more perfume. I've been 3 months without perfume and it doesn't feel good. So I am going to buy myself some perfume and I'm going back to smelling, if you like, the way that I've always smelled. And I'm so happy. It just really lifted my mood. I don't know why. Yeah, Jody's saying, I love the Mickey sweater too. That can become a new tradition now. Thank you for your permission, Jody. That's so kind of you. So now then, so did anybody else get any clothing that they want to talk about? All right, so Jeannie's saying the sweater is wonderful, the colors are great, and the message right for you. Yes, I just love the fact, I can explain. I might have been naughty, but I can explain. All right, so Sandy's saying she didn't report in yesterday, but Friday it was still 74. That's her resting heart rate. So today is 72. But it may still go up. I'm cleaning like crazy in the hopes my mom is coming to stay through. Oh my gosh, no. All right, so how about that? How many of you are back to some sort of civilization in your home? I'm doing pretty well, except for my kitchen is a nightmare. But between the two broadcasts, I'm going to be tidying up my kitchen and seeing what I can do. So did anybody get any clothing for Christmas? Ah, there we go. Jody says, I think I received new PJs that I'm not supposed to know about until later today. Okay, so do you open up presents on different days, Jody? How do you do it in your family? And, that's another question. How many of you open your, what day do you open your presents on? So, if you do it Christmas Eve, just let me know that. And for those of you who do it Christmas, I really try to be aware that not everybody does it the same way as my family did. And goodness knows why. Don't they know there's a right day to open up the presents? Apparently, it's not the same as my family. So I now am smart enough to take presents. If I'm going to take presents, I take them on Christmas Eve, knowing that some people will open on Christmas Eve and some on Christmas Day. By the way, I took treat bags. I got to show you that. Hang on a second. Oh, wait. I forgot to bring them. It's going to take too long if I get all the bits I wanted to show you, but never mind. So I did treats for all my new neighbors in my new place where I live. when I'm not here. But they were 2 boxes like this, and one of them had treats in. And this one has a piece of spice cake with some vanilla icing on it. No, with some cream cheese icing on it. And also there is red velvet cake with vanilla frosting on it. And then I had another bag that had all sorts of other little gifts in it, including 2 rolls. I don't have any here. 2 rolls of that special, that special tape that you can put on or take off anywhere. You know, it's like the stuff they have on the command hooks. Oh, that's interesting. Jeannie is saying, I saw the girls opening up their gifts from you, especially the matching hats for Judy and Leah. They loved them. Yes, you know, it was so cute. Did they show you me opening up my presents as well? Oh, Jody's saying, we like to drag out opening up the presents as long as possible. So you are therefore in my thing. I like to I like to have Christmas week rather than just Christmas Day. So I don't know if you all were here when I talked about the incredible presents I got from Benji and Judy. They gave me a wonderful artist easel, and I'm looking over there because it's the box is in the corner there. And I'm going to be putting that together in January. Because I realize now that what Benji thought of was the fact that I was away from my house. I was going stir crazy, and you know, I didn't have my painting stuff with me. And I think that was really thoughtful. So he and Judy and the girls sent me an easel, some canvases, some paint. Now, did any of you make a mistake? I nearly made a terrible mistake. One of the boxes that I unwrapped was in the little den area that I have here. And I was sort of, you know, about to throw out the packaging and everything else. And then I realized what I thought was packaging wasn't. Right at the bottom, there was some brown paper. That's why I thought it was just packaging. But it had this inside it. So not only did I get the paints and the, you know, the easel and everything else, but I got these incredible brushes that I probably would never buy for myself because they are good ones. Do any of you know what I mean? It's like, I would never spend that money on myself. But I got good brushes now, people. And an easel. And so I'm very excited. Now I'm going to need to get, to enjoy this, I'm going to need to get some drop cloths to put on the floor. Okay, so Jeannie's saying, I saw big gifts, but not you actually opening them. Okay. No, that's interesting. Sandy automatically typed in there. So awesome. Did they send the drop cloth as well? No, they didn't. So yeah, Jody's saying those brushes can be so pricey, and these are good brushes. My sense is they are. Hang on a second. Yeah, if I had my glasses on, I'd be able to read that, but I can't. But so I'm very, very happy with that. And so I've got the paints, I've got the easel now, and then I've just got to find a place to put up the easel. Now the obvious place to put it would be in the study area, but then I can't watch television at the same time. You know, I'm used to doing things and being able to, you know, to sort of have white noise going on that I can look up and see what's going on. So it's going to end up probably in my dining area. Oh, that's so good. So did anybody make a mistake this Christmas? Yours truly. I was telling you, this is all part of the big story about the mistake. So I took gift bags for all the neighbors who had been so kind to me during the time of the fire. And hi, Nyasha. And that ended up being 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 neighbors. That one way or another, they all contributed to being kind to me at that time. And the funny thing was that it was, I delivered them sort of early evening on Christmas Eve, and everybody wanted to stand and chat. And I'm going, it's freezing out here. And I'm not wearing a coat, So I had to sort of remind people of that because, all I did was I jumped out of the car with the idea of just delivering these presents and just going Merry Christmas and then getting out of Dodge. But no, they wanted to have a little chit chat. And it was really funny how genuinely appreciative the people were. And I don't know if any of you found that this year, that I just found people genuinely appreciative of you being thoughtful. And so that was great. Now, the big mistake I made was when I went to go home on Christmas Eve, it was pretty darn cold. And, well, cold in my terms, not in your terms necessarily, but, I'm in southern British Columbia. And so I drove home, and when I got home, don't laugh. When I got home, I realized as I went to go and get my stuff out of the car that I'd driven all the way home with my handbrake on. And I was stone cold sober, people, before you think I was pissed as a newt. I wasn't. I was stone cold sober. I had had, half a glass of wine, like a wine spritzer with dinner. And that was all, and it was ridiculous. Oh, Jodie's saying, I made the mistake of ordering the wrong size toy for Taylor. That's her little fluff ball. It looks like it was a ball meant for a polar bear, not a 12-pound fluff ball. We're donating it to our local animal shelter. How kind of you. That's really kind of you. Yeah. So, but I saw a really interesting thing, Jodie. I saw a picture where they make these balls with teeth on them. So when the dog actually holds it, they have this whole set of teeth. And it really works very well. And so, yeah, I did make the major mistake about that. All right, so Jeannie's saying we had a Zoom meeting originating in England. We got no sound, but saw everybody. Well, isn't that wonderful? Now, why would you not have sound, I wonder? Perhaps the Zoomy people, the people who know Zoom well, can let us know that. So you had people in from your family from Oregon, people from Manchester in England, and people from Maine, and that's wonderful. I think, aren't we so lucky that we have that technology today? Yeah, and that's why I'm saying, Jeannie, that maybe somebody who uses Zoom a lot will have the answer to that. Now, the other thing that I got when I went, that's right. When I went for Christmas Eve, I was carrying these, treat bags and things with me. And then somebody said to me, but we said no presents. And I said, I understand that that's what you said, but please understand that I've been going stir crazy in my, apartment, and I needed something to do that made me feel festive. And I couldn't go and get all the decorations and put them up, only to drag them down 4 floors again to put them away. I said, so that's why I did what I did. So forgive me. And by the way, if you'd like me to take them away again, so that you can make sure that I didn't give you any, I will gladly do that. And then my blood sugar won't like it, but I will gladly do that. And then the one guy looked at me and said, but we said no presents. And I said, oh, so you don't want the freshly baked sourdough that I bought for you, along with a few other little Christmas treats? And he said, hand it over. So, I don't know about you. What I tried to explain to people was that my joy is in giving. So if you take away, because you don't want to spend money, that's fine, but or time or effort. I understand that. But me, my joy is in doing these things. And as some of you know, part of my joy is wrapping everything up. Now, I didn't do as good a job this year as I would normally do, but that's fine. I gave myself slack for that. Jeannie's saying 1-year-old Lucille was terrified of Santa. She loves Uncle John, but she didn't recognize him as Santa. Quite honestly, my experience of 1-year-olds is most of them are terrified of Santa. So Nyasha, did you guys have a happy Christmas? And did you do the best that you could with your Christmas? Now, another thing I got, I don't think I can get my feet up that far. Maybe I can. Oh, I got fuzzy slippers, fuzzy socks with grippers on the bottom. And that is, I don't know about you, but I love that. I will love that not only here, I will wear them out probably before I go home. But I love them here, but I will definitely love them when I go home. So it was sort of like, oh, I got fuzzy slippers. Now then. We decided that we were going to do the best we could for Christmas and enjoy them. Oh, Jeannie's saying I gave several people soft socks. They all love them. Yes, I don't think we can have too many of those sort of socks, quite honestly. How many of you agree with me? They are such comfortable things to wear. And obviously I have to be careful because I need to be wearing shoes during the day. But so I'm going to be taking these off after the broadcast, and I'll put shoes back on because I found that my edema, that's when your feet swell up. Definitely when I wear shoes, proper shoes that are looking after my feet properly, I don't suffer from it. But if I don't wear shoes, then I do. So I'm going to do that. Yes, you're saying, Mama Sal, I'm still struggling. So not really, but I enjoyed it through the giving of gifts to my niece and cousin and godbaby. That's wonderful. And that's the whole thing, Nyasha. One of the things that I really believe in is if you want to feel better, make somebody else feel better. Jody's saying to Jeannie, there are 2 sound options to choose from when the Zoom session begins. I can't recall exactly the wording. Yours might have been on the wrong one. I have the same issue with my doctor's appointments. Interesting. So that's a learning moment as well. So, maybe I've never done it. Quite honestly, I've never done Zoom, but I was wondering whether any of you would like to do a Zoom type meeting, either on Google Meet or or Zoom or something. just for maybe New Year. And I think what I'll do is I'll put up another survey on that to see what people think. Otherwise known as a poll. All right, now then. So one of the things we did was to try and make it as Christmassy as possible, even though, we were limited. So what we did, Betty Ann plays an accordion, one big one. And she used to have a band, which is really amazing. And anyway, so what we did is her husband, Brian, put up a gas fire pit, and we all went and froze our butts off around the fire pit and sang Christmas carols. And, it was really such a fun thing to do. Obviously, it's going to be a regular thing for Christmases because we all enjoyed it so much. And we had hot chocolate with cream on top. And, we did all the bits. Betty Ann did a great job. But you could tell that it was her joy to be able to do that. And she, and obviously, it's not as much fun if there are only a couple of you, but like there were 4 of us. So, and the funny thing was that we were singing along to all these carols. And I realized I don't know half the carols, not carols, but the Christmas songs, the religious ones I know, and I know the words to without a problem. But and I know Frosty the Snowman. But, and a few of the others like that. But boy, they were singing ones I can't remember ever singing in my life. And I'm going, obviously I haven't lived. So did any of you sing carols this Christmas? And if not, I thoroughly recommend it. Yasha's saying, definitely, I never had a childhood. So I'm living my life through the grandchildren, the godchildren, and her nieces and nephews. Absolutely, Nyasha, that is the way to do it. I can assure you, I live through all sorts of things through Benji and Georgie's children. As you heard about the gingerbread houses. I cannot remember making gingerbread houses in my lifetime. But, which is why I get so excited when in the days when I could go and visit them, when I could go and do things like that. And, Judy and Benji, I have talked to them about it and said, you do understand that because Judy always says to me, I love how you always play with the children so much. And I said, yeah, I do that for me. I'm not that nice a person. I just love playing with some of those things that they get. Of course, getting off the floor again afterwards is a bit of a challenge for me, but, as I think you all know. But so to me, it is really important that I want to keep that child in me alive as long as I possibly can. Jody's saying, I start singing Christmas songs off key and badly in November, and I don't stop until January. It drives Lionel batty, I'm sure. Well, and that's the other thing, isn't it? I'd like to talk about that. Oh, wait a minute. What is Nasha saying? Yes, I watched the vlog. Well, I haven't seen the vlog, but what I said to the children when they unwrapped their presents was I made sure that I reminded them that if I had been there, which I normally would have been to see them unwrap it, if I had been there, I would be playing with them. And I wanted them to get that picture in their mind because that to me was really important. Yes, you're saying I started to cry during it. It was so heartwarming. Well, I really want to say that it's the little things, all right. You know, the matching hats for Judy and Leah. I just could see that. You know, I could see Judy and Leah in those hats. So, and I just thought that this probably is the last child she's going to have. I don't know for sure, but that would be my guess. And you know, it would just be, and you know, this could be a Christmas where winter time where she would appreciate that. And you know, it's always very challenging, isn't it, to know what gifts to give people. All right, so here we were singing Christmas carols. There's a story around this, of course, when now Betty Ann wanted to take video of us singing "We Wish You a Merry Christmas" so that she could send it to her children on Christmas Day. Oh, hi there, Kez. Kez is saying, at my sister's house, she put on Michael Bublé's Christmas album. Yes, I think, you know, if you can't do anything else, you know, put on a couple of good singers, you know, Bublé or whatever, you know, and just at least for the meal, people. Anyway, so here we were, and Betty Ann saying, we need to sing "We Wish You a Merry Christmas" because I want to videotape it. So we went, okay. So she's sort of doing it, but Betty Ann is not a vlogger or somebody who understands how to put this together. So I watched her, first of all, do one round. We had to sing it twice for her, but she didn't get anybody's face in properly. And, you know, so I just went, okay, it's not my video, so I'm not going to worry about that. Then she did a second take. And then she did a third. Now, by now, we're getting a bit fed up with singing "We Wish You a Merry Christmas." And so then I said, Betty Ann, would you allow me for take 64? You know, would you allow me to videotape for you? And then I'll send you the link so that you can send it on to whoever you want to. Oh, she said, would you? And I said, yeah, I think I'm a bit more used to doing this than you are. So how about I do that for you? And of course, being me, I started with the fire pit. While everybody started to sing, I just had the visual of the fire pit and the flames and the ambience, you know, that you need for something like that. And then as, you know, each little bit, we wish you Christmas, we wish, you know, and I kept moving the camera to each different person. So each person was wishing you a Merry Christmas. But it was so funny because at the end of it, when she saw it, she said, that's exactly what I wanted. And I said, I know. The 64 takes we did beforehand told me that, or 63. So it was so cute because it was a gift I hadn't planned to give her, but it, you know, I was able to give her that extra gift. But oh gosh, did we laugh. And you know, if memories are what Christmas is about, what was your fondest memory of Christmas this year? Because I have to say, Take 64 was high on everybody's list. Everybody said, yeah, no, Take 64 was really funny. I mean, we laughed until we cried. You know, it was just like, Take 4, Take 5. And then I went, no, that's it. So I actually had the Take 64 at the beginning of the video. I put that in, you know, just as I was about to roll it. I put, you know, as they would in the movies, you know, Take 64. Because, you know, you got to make it funny, right? How many of you can imagine this? Oh, Lordy. Mm-hmm. Right, I made more mistakes. Yep. When I delivered the good treat bags to people, I actually let everybody know that I thoroughly recommended the salted caramel and the peanut butter fudge that I had made. Only to find out when I got home last night that they're still here. For some reason, I had the box out ready to drop them in all the bags, but didn't. So guess who's now got a big box of salted caramel chocolate and peanut butter? Now, did I tell you the easiest way in the world to make fudge? And I cannot believe I lived a lifetime and didn't know that this was possible. Now, I personally like fudge. And what I was surprised about is that, quite honestly, if you buy the chocolate chip type things, they really don't have nearly, hang on a second, let me get the bag so I can show you, because this to me was interesting in terms of calories and carbs and everything. Hold on a sec. Oh. Okay, so Sandy's saying, not done on purpose, the fact that I forgot to send the best stuff. Or a happy accident. Yes, I had to laugh when I know that. I will, it's probably at New Year or around about that time, I'll do another swing by and drop some off to everybody. Okay, so now these are the, not being paid by anybody, people. These are the Chippets, salted caramel chocolate chip things. And what I was surprised to read was that the carbs are only 3% on these for a tablespoon. Now, I would think that a chocolate little square, is probably a teaspoon. So I thought, something that's not as dangerous as most Christmas baking. Mind you, I did put a little bit of score bits on top of it. Now that's toffee, brown toffee. That probably was a little bit more, but what I'm saying is not as bad as I thought. So anyway, here's the thing. Quick fudge, and it works like a dream, is you take some of these, whatever flavor you want, and you just microwave it if you've got a microwave, or, melt it in a double boiler thing. But just microwave it at 30 seconds at a time, no more. And just until it becomes creamy. Once it's hot and creamy, drop in some marshmallow. Now, quite honestly, the bottle of marshmallow is the easiest, because you just take a teaspoon and huck it in, and then very quickly mix it all in, because it starts to solidify very quickly. But then I just push those into an ice cube tray, and it sets up within about an hour. I put it, I let it sort of cool down a bit, and then I put it in the fridge for an hour, and it is the greatest fudge. How simple is that? So now next year I'm going to be making all sorts of different things. Now I made a mistake making the peanut butter cups that I was making. I made a mistake. If you remember, I showed you that it fell apart when I went to take it out. And what I thought was, wait a minute, this is chocolate and peanut butter. What if I drop some marshmallow in there? Will it make peanut butter chocolate fudge? So good. So incredibly good. So they were, I had some dark chocolate, I think, no, milk chocolate. It was milk chocolate chips that I melted, and then I had peanut butter straight out of the jar, mixed some of that in, and then hucked in some. Once all that mixture was warm, I threw in the marshmallow and really stirred it up quickly, and then let it sit. Thoroughly recommended. And so easy to do. Mind you, it's a bit like everything Dear Mama Sal does, right? It was messy. And you remember the story about the gingerbread houses? You know, I ended up having to lick my fingers quite a bit because it, you know, did get everywhere. But the good news was it tasted magnificent. So what was your favorite? Did any of you bake treats? And if you did, what was your favorite to make? Jody, I was thinking anybody who's, you know, got to be careful of sugar, you know, that was probably most of the sugars in all of that were not natural sugars, you know, and so not a bad thing to do. And I think I told you guys, I did have one batch of shortbread that didn't work at all well. And I decided to keep, after it had baked, I decided to keep what I had. And just, you know, because it fell apart. It was just, you know, not enough butter in it or something. But I just now sprinkle that shortbread topping over. Yeah, I'll do stewed apples or something, and I'll just sprinkle it on top. And it's like, wow, why did I never think of that before? So what were your favorite treats to get, if you got any, or which were your most favorite to give? I think I have mentioned this before. The one that people seem to like really well every year is I do chocolate covered marshmallows. You know, I stick a popsicle type stick into, a white stick into a marshmallow, and then cover it with chocolate. And then while the chocolate is still hot, I dip it in. I did some in coconut and some in score bits and things like that. Yeah, Jeannie's saying York loved the rumbles, as did our dog groomer and our hairdresser. See, and everybody has their own. Jody said her Mexican wedding cakes and Hershey Kiss cookies were our favorites. We didn't do whipped shortbread this year. Gasp. And so, yeah, and Jeannie's saying for her rumbles, she did dark rum. Now, I must admit that I don't cook with alcohol for Christmas because I never know who might be alcoholic. Isn't that funny? And I'm certain that people will say to me, but once you've cooked them, the alcohol evaporates or whatever. But it's just a personal thing. It's just like I would hate to, I guess because I know people who are alcoholic or recovering alcoholics. And it's just, I just have a thing about that. Isn't that strange? However, talking about evaporating alcohol, little tip for you. I want you to take some perfume with me for the visit I did yesterday. I took a baggie and I put in a wet wipe type cloth, and then I sprayed my perfume onto into the bag. Now I know that the perfume is permeating that plastic bag and being absorbed by the wet wipe. Makes sense? But here's the interesting thing. It will almost immediately, the alcohol from the perfume will evaporate, but it's contained within the bag. So within a couple of hours, you're going to have a dry wet wipe. But what I found is if you just put a couple of drops of water when you go to the washroom, you touching up your lipstick, you put a couple of drops of water onto that wet wipe type thing, and then you can just use it, and it works. It was amazingly, because again, at home I've got a special, purse size atomizer thing that I take with me when I'm out. But of course, everything's in storage now, so I haven't got all my usual things. So plan B was necessary. All right, Nisha's saying, Mama Sal, I've got to go. Will they be broadcast tonight? Yes, they will. It'll be at 7 o'clock Pacific time. So everybody voted to do the two on today, Saturday, rather than the ones on Christmas Day. So that's what we're doing. Okay, so have a wonderful day, and thank you for joining us. So, yeah, Jeannie's saying, I rarely cook with alcohol. This was an exception. Yes, perhaps does anybody know? I mean, I think that's the discussion I wanted to have. Does anybody know that if you cook with alcohol, does the alcohol, and we know it makes it taste great, but the question is, does the alcohol remain? I actually just realized as I'm telling this story, I know why I don't like to cook with alcohol. I'm going to tell the story in a minute. All right, Merry Christmas, Nyasha. Thank you so much for being here. All right, let me tell you a horror story. I think it's a horror story. I don't know if in your family you have Christmas pudding, but, my mom used to make Christmas pudding, and it was, I have to tell you, more rum in there than there was anything else. It was an incredibly potent mixture. That wasn't the worst of it. My mom, for custard to go over the Christmas pudding, would use advocaat. And I don't know if any of you know that particular drink. It's yellow, and it is very potent. And she thought it was funny because we as children didn't realize that we were actually getting drunk every Christmas, and that would send us to sleep for the afternoon. So I don't know about you, but when I got old enough to realize what was going on, I got angry. And I said to her, have you thought about the damage that you could have done to us? Filling us full of rum and eggnog, and not eggnog, but advocaat on Christmas. And she just said, what's happened to your sense of humor? I said, I don't find it funny. I don't find it funny at all. And so I think, Jeannie, and I realize now that that's my stuff, and I thought there must be a reason, so I'm glad I talked about it. I didn't think that was funny. All right, so if rum balls are no bake, that means that definitely, Jody, could you look to see what happens, if you cook with alcohol, does the alcohol content remain? I think it might. There she goes. She's already done it, of course. Thanks, Jody. Jody's our admin, by the way. Does a wonderful job. Better than wonderful. Magnificent. All right, Jody's saying, after cooking for 15 minutes, 40% remains. And after an hour, 25% still remains. Yes. And then, of course, you can imagine, Jody, before they served the Christmas pudding, my mother would, literally pour rum over the top and then set fire to it so that it had the right look. So I don't know about you, but I think that's a pretty horrific thing to do to children. Jeannie's saying they still, the rum balls still have alcohol in them, but I told people there was rum in them. That's, that's good. I can remember having a discussion with my sister one day when she was telling me something that she'd made, and she said, well, it's got a whole lot of whatever in it, vodka or whatever she poured into it. And I said, do you have a label to let people know that in case you've got a recovering alcoholic? Well, we don't invite those sort of people. I said, really? I don't know about you, but it's like so many people have got allergies and so many people are recovering from different things. I guess I'm different. To me, it's like I made sure that everything I made had a label in it so that everybody knew that you were about to, this had peanut butter in it, right, in case you were allergic to peanuts. So it's interesting, isn't it? My stuff, I guess. But then I think I am super sensitive to it because, I know a couple of people who are recovering. There we go. Jeannie's saying, I always have to ask about nuts, okay, due to my allergy. She has a nut allergy. Yes, I always, whenever I go out to eat, I always have to ask about garlic, right? And guess what? One of the meals we had a salad, and everything about that salad looked like it was a Caesar salad. And I just said, is this Caesar salad? Yeah. And I said, okay, so I won't be having it. And Betty Ann looked horrified. And she said, I never realized that Caesar salad had garlic in it. And I said, oh yeah, it's the main component, really. Not only in the crouton, but also in the salad dressing. Yes, and Kez is saying a lot of people are allergic to alcohol. Yeah. And so you understand that's why, for me, it is really important that we have that discussion. Wow, isn't that interesting? Jeannie's saying, I've not had nuts in years, especially allergic to walnuts. I wonder why we're all so allergic to things nowadays. Or were people always allergic, but we never knew? What do you think? Oh, so you have the full reaction if you have walnuts. Yeah, and that's the whole thing. I can eat garlic, and that's what I say to people. Hey, I could eat the Caesar salad, but what would happen is I would be asleep within the hour and unable to drive home until my body had processed the garlic. Because what happens to me is I don't have an anaphylactic shock, but what happens to me is it is, when you get the flu, you get dissociated. You're sort of in your body, but you're not. And that happens to me. And I literally will need to go to sleep, because if I don't sleep and give my body time to process the garlic out, I can't drive. So it is something to be aware of. And oh, isn't that interesting? Jody is allergic to eucalyptus. Huh. And that's sort of at Christmas time, there's a lot of that around. So even from potpourri or from a candle, and halls, what happens? Are you allergic if somebody is sucking on a hall's menthol and eucalyptus? Or is it only if you inhale it? Because what I said to people is I can sit and have dinner with people eating a stack of garlic. It won't necessarily affect me. We did have one occasion when it did, when I was at Benji and Judy's for December. Because she was cutting up 6 cloves of garlic, full ones, right behind me. And I inhaled it and I had the reaction. I couldn't finish December that year. So isn't that interesting, right? That we have these things. And so, but what I've always said to people is, please don't punish everybody else for the fact that I can't take fresh garlic. I can, funny enough, take garlic seasoning sometimes if it's in the seasoning, I can normally get away with it. But if it's fresh garlic, I have a problem. But Caesar salad, normally has quite a bit of garlic in it, so I don't even go near that. So I think it's like I have people. Oh, let me ask you, how do you feel when you invite somebody for a meal and they have an allergy, or they're vegan, or they are whatever? How do you feel about that? Do you feel frustrated about it, or do you feel that's fine? I just needed to know so I can make a plan. Because to me, I don't think anybody chooses to be allergic. What do you think? So if they don't choose to be allergic, then I'm not going to punish them for it. Now, you can choose to be vegan, but I understand that that's your right. And so all I will do is I will double check exactly how vegan you have decided to be. And the reason I say that, because some people are vegan, but they will eat this. They're vegan, but they will eat that. Or they are, they have sort of their own version of whatever it is. So I will always say, awesome. Thank you. I always ask, do you have any allergies that I should know about? Yeah, and Jeannie does the same thing. And then I will say to them, okay, but you don't have to worry, I'll bring my own food. And I said, no, I just need to know what you're allergic to. So I will be, preparing one meal here, but I will do, yours separately. Well, I don't want you to go to that much trouble. I said, but I do. Jody's saying, I get very sick at work. I kept getting very sick at work, and we didn't know why. It was because the floral department kept refilling the arrangements near me with eucalyptus. And I was in the ER more times than I can count. Isn't that interesting? And Jeannie said, poor York cannot eat any fish except lobster. Well, if you're going to eat fish, that's the one to eat. He gets dreadfully ill and has, and throws up so bad that he ends up in hospital. Well, isn't it funny but lobster doesn't do it? You see, that's the other thing. Yeah, I'm allergic to seafood and all fish and seafood, because normally they're two different categories, right? Fish and then seafood as a separate one. So, but I can't eat lobster. Isn't that weird? And sad to hear. And I can remember going out with one guy that was allergic to shellfish, and you'll be amazed. Shellfish is in some funny things that you don't even think about. Something like trying to think what it is. There's one source that has derived from shellfish in some way that I didn't know. All right, so interesting. Jeannie's saying that York's mother had the same allergy. Is Marion his daughter? I don't know who Marion is. Anyway, Marion, your daughter, and John can eat anything. Yes, so it affects some people and others it doesn't. So, you look at it and go, in this day and age, we need to ask, because you would not want to spoil somebody's Christmas, would you? Or New Year or whatever. So how did you all feel about being isolated this Christmas? How did you cope with that? Did it feel okay, knowing that, you couldn't change the reality? And did you spend the whole day commiserating the fact that you couldn't have your family around you? So Jeannie's just confirming that Marin is his daughter and mother of little Lucille. Okay, they live in Oregon. So, how did you cope with that this year? Or had you done enough work on your mentality to be able to, have it happen and know, hopefully, that this won't be a common thing that happens, that this may just be, the Christmas of 2020 when we had to be alone. And, we will tell stories to our grandchildren about that. And that we survived it. And how lucky we were to survive it. So I just wanted to know, did it bring up feelings for you? Were you able to control them? Let me know. Okay, so now then, Jeannie's saying we had a quiet, happy holiday. We watched TV, we read and relaxed. I'm trying to remember, what did we do on New Year's Eve and Christmas Eve? I went and had dinner, and it was so good. And then yesterday, and we did the carol thing. And then yesterday I went and we had a late brunch together, and then we played Wii games all afternoon. And then I was taking everybody out to dinner for Christmas dinner, which is what they wanted, to go out for dinner rather than have Betty Ann cook, which I thought was a good idea. But unfortunately, by the time we got to late afternoon, I was so overly tired. I said, guys, I really love you enough to tell you the truth. And that is, I need to skip dinner. I know you're going to have dinner, and I was going to be there with you and pay for it. I still would love to pay for it, but I just can't. I am too tired, and it would be dangerous for me to carry on. I'm going to go home. And what we decided was that the next time we all do Chinese dinner together, I'll pay for that. That's what we decided. So let's see. Sandy is saying ours was quiet as Mom was still in quarantine. But Sandy, how late were you up on Christmas Eve? Because I heard that you were not stopping until everything was wrapped, and I could imagine that was not easy for you. And how many of you relate to that one? How many of you promised yourself that you were going to have things ready on time this year and you were not? And the stress you went under. Jeannie's saying, I made pancakes for breakfast, a big treat for York and me. Yes, it's really nice to do something like that. Kez said, thank you, Kez. Kez Googled about the allergies and said, start giving babies slightly allergenic foods first, giving them slowly and introducing high-risk allergenic foods. Delaying those foods can increase the allergic reaction. So if I understand that rightly, Kez, you're saying that if we introduce peanuts and shellfish early on, that's likely to have effect. But Sandy goes, no, don't do that. Okay, interesting. This is obviously a subject we needed to talk about. Sandy, tell us more. You've obviously had experience. That doesn't work, she says. Is that from your personal experience? Jody said, we had a quiet day. We were planning it to be that way regardless of the quarantine. Yes, so it was what you chose to do and you enjoyed the quiet. Yeah, and I know that you did Christmas services online and so forth. And so, Sandy's saying, my son is highly allergic to peanuts. Interesting. So following that protocol could be deadly. All right. So, I mean, you're going to have to, this is a peculiar thing, Sandy, because you have to sort of give peanuts to find out that they're allergic, right? Or how do they do it these days? Before you start feeding peanuts, do they do allergen tests? Help me here. What's the right way to do it? Jeannie's saying some allergies get worse with age. York used to be able to eat some fish, haddock, tuna, fish chowder, but not now. Quite honestly, I ate garlic all my life until I went into menopause. For some reason, when I went into menopause, something shifted in my being that made me allergic. You know, it just, for some reason, it only affected me after I went into menopause. Can't work that out. I've actually been and talked to nutritionists and to find out, is there anything I can take to counteract it? You know, in other words, you know, can I take antihistamines and then eat garlic? Because, you know, I quite honestly, I love garlic. My body doesn't, but I love it. And what they found out was that they're not quite sure what I'm allergic to, because I'm not allergic to leeks or any of the other type of garlic. You know, I'm not allergic to onions. I can eat onions. I can eat leeks. So, but they think I'm allergic to the alum in garlic. Interesting. Jody's saying, I had serious food allergies as a child, but they seem to have gotten much milder as I got older. So you've gone the other way. It's the story of your life, Jody. You know, when would you ever be normal? And Jeannie's saying with York, if he eats one bite of a scallop, he'll be in a hospital. Yep. So it's a really interesting thing, isn't it? How we react and overreact to these things. And the fact, I mean, what I want to know is, you know, we appreciated the input from Kez, but if you have children today, how do you find out if they're allergic? If you don't give them something with peanuts, how do you find out if they're allergic? Or do all children today go through an allergy test? And as we're saying, some people don't develop those allergies until a lot later. All right, so Sandy's saying, no, you're supposed to start new foods slowly anyway. So a small amount may not trigger the worst reaction, but you probably see some reaction, right? So this week, you sort of do it like by this week we'll try peanuts, see what happens. And then, you know, later on try shellfish or something. Yes, and Jeannie's saying at Christmas, York used to make fish chowder because his son loved it, but York couldn't taste any of it. So, you know, Jeannie used to taste it for him and let him know. I think that's, you know, that is beautiful in my view. All right, and Sandy's saying, but to purposely give highly allergic foods first isn't smart. Well, okay, so this is, listen to your doctors, do what they suggest. And Sandy, I appreciate the fact that you, first of all, Kez, thank you for giving the information you thought was correct. And I thank you for that. But you're hearing it from somebody who had the other side of that, that's Sandy, that may not be the best way. And so, like everything else, you know, you may want to just check it out with your healthcare provider. Sandy, you're doing a great job. She's saying, I'm sorry I can't get all the thoughts out because I'm on my phone, not on my laptop. I really appreciate the input you're giving us, as usual, Sandy. I always appreciate your input on these things. So the next thing was I did give myself a new Fitbit for Christmas. and you know, it is so funny because it got delivered to my other house, and so I had to be able to get into my other house to be able to unpack it. But what I found out was I managed to get one because of the Black Friday type stuff, to get this one for under $100, which I thought was a great deal. But it has a different way to get the band off from the other one. And I was really struggling with it yesterday. And I was doing it, when I was at Betty Ann's place. But she said to me, because she knew I bought a whole series of different colored bands to go with it, right? So I could match whatever I was wearing if I wanted to. And she said, well, what's the point of having bands like that if it's so difficult to change the ones you've got? And I said, no, Betty Ann. Like everything else, everything's easy to do once you know how to do it. I've just got to change this band a couple of times and I'll know how to do it, and therefore it will be quicker. It is difficult because I have nails, but I was thinking that I think you can do it. I'm thinking about the tip. Hang on, let me see if I can show you this. Can you see these little doodads? Like there's one here and there's one there. You see that? And I think if you take a pen and put it in there, doing an experiment while we talk here, people, you know me. Yeah. Oh, you're so smart. Of course, getting it back might be different. Now, hang on a second. You actually need 3 hands to do this. I might not waste your time on this trying to do it while I'm online, but getting it back on is going to be more difficult. Hang on, I did it without. So you put one side in. Okay, people, I'm not going to quit now. It definitely would help if I have glasses on. As you can tell, it's not easy. But I will learn. And practice makes perfect, right? Okay, I'm going to do it after the broadcast. So the thing is that one of the things that frustrated me about my other Fitbit is the bands break pretty quickly. And so this time I bought a whole stack of different bands so that the bands will last as long as the Fitbit did. All right, so Sandy, first of all, Kez is saying, when I was a kid in the 70s, I never heard of any kids in my school having allergies. I've heard that a lot of people are getting allergies because of chemicals that are in our food. Do you think that is true? Actually, yes, I do. The other thing is, I think that we are overly careful with our children today. I will get to that in a second. And then Sandy's saying, sorry, the misconception is that if you give them a little bit at a time of the allergenic foods, they will grow a tolerance. If there is a reaction, it's not okay to follow without doctor's guidance. There you go. So do I think that allergies are caused by chemicals and whatever? I am not 100% sure. I'm not a doctor, so I can't give you the correct answer on that. But what I can tell you is that I think that we have sanitized our children to a really great extent. And therefore, their immunity is not as strong. All right, and Sandy's very kindly saying, Kez is not completely wrong. You just need to be careful. I'm sorry I overreacted. It's a huge thing for me. And that's why I say you must have personal experience of this, Sandy, to react like that. All right. So your experience was, and I'm certain Kez understands that and appreciates it. Jeannie's saying, I have taught in kindergarten where one child was so allergic to peanuts, no one could bring any to school lunch. Yep, and definitely. And Sandy's saying, I feel it's like the chemicals in the air as well. I was at a leadership camp one day, and one of the committee members bought the whole of the committee a whole lot of French pastries. And what did I see on top? Nuts on top of one of them. And I knew that camp was absolutely no nuts whatsoever were allowed to be brought into the camp. And because I saw the nuts, I said, hang on a second, we've got nuts in here. And we're not allowed to have them. So therefore, number one, we have to get rid of them and find out from the management how we want to dispose of them. But secondly, we literally sanitized the whole place. We got all the participants and all the committee, and we sanitized that whole place from top to bottom. Just rearranged our schedule, and we got everybody doing that to make sure that we didn't leave anything that was going to be of a danger to anybody else. So yes, I understand. And that's why I was very pleased to find that they'd made a peanut butter now that called Wow, that doesn't have any peanuts in it. But it tastes just like peanut butter. So I look at all of this Christmas time and go, do you feel that you handled your emotions better this Christmas? Got any input on that one? Do you feel that you handled your emotions better this Christmas? Did you get angry with yourself? Did you forgive yourself? Did you keep a sense of humor? Did you do the things you needed to do to enjoy it? Were you able to let go of your perfectionism? Yeah, and Sandy is saying, Kez, I know what you mean. We had no issues around us as kids. I cannot remember at school having people with allergies. Jeannie's saying that once I got through Thanksgiving, I felt better. So do you think then, Jeannie, that is, everything's easy to do once you know how to do it? So you learned how to do Thanksgiving without the family, therefore Christmas was easier. Am I understanding you correctly? You had a bit of experience about doing things without the family being there. And I'm thinking, that in some families, they're probably going, wow, that was great. We didn't have to have Uncle Ralph here this year, And certainly in some families, there were some pluses to this. Yeah, so Jeannie's confirming it, yes, and Christmas was easier because of that, right? Kez is saying, I saw a story about a kid that came into contact with people. And I came home, and they hadn't had peanut butter for 24 hours because breathing or kissing the kid was dangerous. Wow. Isn't that scary? That's a real serious allergy, right? I wouldn't have, so if they ate peanut butter and then kissed their child, that was dangerous for the child. Wow, that's amazing. Jody is saying we had a sense of humor and had no expectations because we knew this year was going to be very different from any other years. It was about counting our blessings, not about material things. Yeah. And Sandy's saying, Kez, we are a peanut butter free home. And that is that is the whole thing, that some you've had to learn. It's like I'm a garlic-free home. Hang on a second. So you look at it and go, things have changed. And they've changed more than we can believe. All right. And I think the fact that maybe the amount of chemicals we have in anything has lowered our resistance to these things. I don't know what it is, for sure. All right. For some reason, it makes me think about my mommy. My mommy would blame everything on the Russians. Got it together. Blame everything on the Russians because they sent up Sputnik. She blamed them for everything. There'd be a traffic jam. Well, it's because of Sputnik. The first satellite that went up. And then, we've got more flu this year. Well, that's because of Sputnik. I used to roll my eyes. So Sandy's going, so go back to Christmas. We wrapped the day before because we allowed the kids to open at midnight. Yes. So that is the other thing, so you actually span the bridge between New Year's Eve and Christmas Day. Midnight is like, it's the first moment of Christmas. Wow. And that probably means that they sleep well. That's clever. And so my next question is, for those of you who have children or were able to watch their children open presents, what was their favorite present this year? And owing to the fact that we are about to go into Black Friday and, the Boxing Day sales, I quite honestly think the Boxing Day sales will last all year this year. I think we're going to get really good deals all year. I've dropped the, just as I was about to go live, I dropped my lip balm. But Jody, I want to tell you that the deal you found me on that lip balm just is amazing. And I think we are going to be much more savvy online shoppers this year. Kez is saying, for my family at Christmas, it's about the desserts. My sister made pavlova and ginger biscuits. Yes, I made, there you go. That was one thing I wanted to talk about. I made ginger biscuits. I made snickerdoodles. But what I found was that if you take, an egg lifter that has slats in it, and you just press that on top of a cookie, it makes a really nice little design. And of course, if you if you have the one with the little holes in it, like if you've got the spoon with the holes in it, make very nice decorations for cookies. The other thing I found, to my frustration, was I got some Russian tips, decorating tips for icing. And I've discovered it's a really good idea to practice for a year before you try doing that the night that you are wanting them. Right, in case anybody doesn't know what pavlova is, and I see Jody saying, I love pavlova, and so do I. Pavlova is meringue. And meringue, the pavlova is like meringue and then cream and then sometimes strawberries and then another layer of meringue. Yeah, it really is unbelievable. And it takes a lot of time and hard work, but it is a great thing. And I don't know many people that don't enjoy it. And actually, it's a great thing to do for Christmas. I think I might do that next year. Make a note, Jody. We'll try that for next year. So I look at this whole Christmas and go, it really was a different Christmas. I still haven't seen Dougie or, my friend Patty or other people or Marnie. And so what I did was I did all the baking for the first group of people, And now this week I will bake again for the second group of people, and I will deliver those sort of roundabout New Year or afterwards even. It doesn't really matter. It's all about, I really do believe it's the thought that is important, not the day. And now that I've become a fudge expert, an easy fudge expert, I'm thinking as well that there are going to be an awful lot of things that are on sale coming up soon. So this would be a great time to go, you know, I really did want to try pavlova and I didn't. Maybe I'll do it as a treat. Sandy's saying, Sal, can I add one more thing about allergies? Go right ahead, Sandy. That's, you know, the whole reason we do these broadcasts is so that one of these subjects will pop out of nowhere. And I don't know about the rest of you, but I am always grateful when they do, because I always learn something. You know, it's not that it is part of how we learn. And that's what we all love to do. That's why we get together. So Jody, I think I'm going to have a go at pavlova. So if you've got the perfect recipe, anybody, then, you know, let me have it. And I do know that I love it. And again, can I make pavlova with truvia? I bet you I can. And therefore, egg whites, truvia. Anyway, so what I was saying was, think about the fact there are going to be an awful lot of things that are on sale because they would have stocked everything up ready for Christmas and then found that people didn't buy as much this year as they would normally. Jeannie's saying, I got a cookbook today with an easy pavlova recipe. Yes, I am sure the internet has got 1001 as well. So thanks, Jeannie. That would be awesome. And so you look at it and go, what are you planning to do? And maybe we'll talk more about this this evening. Kez is saying, I went to 2 Boxing Day sales yesterday, and it was super, super packed, mostly packed, more packed than it's been all year long. Line up for Pandora. Wow, it's interesting, isn't it? Jody's saying, I saw a truvia pavlova recipe. Thank you, Jody. When you can refine that, I would be appreciative. Sandy's saying, you asked about if there's an allergy test first. The answer is no, not recommended. They can only judge a real allergy from the reaction and then testing. See, it's what I love about doing this difficult subject, right? And Kez, thank you. Thank you so much, because Kez, if you hadn't said what you said, we wouldn't have had the reaction and learnt the extra on it. So thank you both so much. And thank you for not getting upset with one another. Thank you for just realizing that's how we all learn stuff. And it's really amazing. So, Sandy, thank you for taking the time. And I know you're busy on a phone and that makes it difficult, but thank you for taking the time to do what you did to make sure that we didn't do it the wrong way. And I really, really appreciate it. Must have been difficult because you don't want to call Kez wrong. And I really saw that. So good on you, both of you. You see, what I love about my viewers is that they can have a disagreement, but still stay and talk about it. That's what you call emotionally intelligent, right? And Sandy says, yes, I go into panic mode. There is a lot of misconception out there. Yeah, and you know, it's the same about anything. There are so many. I think that must make life for doctors very difficult. People are reading stuff that they believe to be true, and it isn't. And You know, it's one of the things I think we all need to be aware of is that there is so much misinformation in the world. I mean, there always has been, but now it's compounded because of social media. And it's like, on the other hand, I can see the plus side of that. All right. And you know, to me, it's the plus side of it that makes it all worthwhile. You know, I've learned an awful lot through, you know, being, I don't think, I don't know about the rest of you, but I don't think I could imagine life without Google. And yet, you know, we lived centuries without it. But now I'm going, you know, our demand for instant knowledge is so great. And Jeannie's saying, I carry an EpiPen in my pocketbook everywhere. Yes, you know, anybody with a serious allergy should do that, and that's intelligent. I can remember, Jeannie, that one member of staff that we employed just happened in passing to tell me that she had an allergy to, I can't remember what it was. And I said, oh, interesting to know. And immediately I called a staff meeting because that was the first person that I was aware of in the staff, you know, in all the staff that had an allergy that required an EpiPen. And the person concerned looked at me and said, I didn't mean to cause a scene. I said, it's not a scene. We want to know how to save your life. So I want to get everybody together. We're going to take 5 minutes. You tell us what to do. So because when it happens to you, you might not be conscious enough for us to be able to do the right thing. You won't be, what if you're not conscious enough to be able to tell us what to do? So here's the thing. Tell us now. Tell us all now. Because now what we do, if everybody's got a rough idea of what to do, when the panic hits, one of us is going to say, and she said, take out the pen and stab it into her left thigh and wait 5 minutes. And if she isn't, hit it again. And, I said, one of us is going to remember it. And that could save your life, and that would make me very happy. So it's worth the 5 minutes to have everybody get together and you teach us how to do it. And she was absolutely shocked that I would do that. And to me, it was just like, no, it's a no-brainer. That was the first person I knew of that needed an EpiPen in a given situation. Jeannie's saying, one of my cousins, a doctor, gave me the first one. I never heard of an EpiPen until then. Yeah. I want to tell you, I thought when I started to feel really bad last night, just before we were due to go to dinner, I thought that I had a sugar crash, unlikely to be crashing with sugar at Christmas time, or that I had gone over the top with sugar. And yet the funny thing was, when I got home and tested myself, my sugar was high, but not too high for somebody who just had a meal. And so I realized the reason I'm not feeling well isn't because of my sugar necessarily. It is about, I'm just overly tired. I stood too long, I did too much. And, now, and I still knew I needed to do 2 broadcasts today and another one tomorrow. And so this was like, no, I'm overloading here. And therefore, it is a time for me to go home and get some sleep, or at least relax, and not worry about anything. And, give myself a bit of time. How many of you woke up this morning and thought, I could, or I did this even yesterday. Yesterday when I woke up, I went, I could do with another 12 hours sleep. And then that was yesterday. And this morning, I made sure that I set 2 different alarms so that I could get up today. It was just like, because I knew getting up today would be difficult for me. How about you guys? And, it's, to me, it's like, be aware. And that, it's life. All right. And we forget what strain we put on our body. And our body goes, no, I'm not ready for that. So as you look back on this Christmas time, and in terms of what made you happy, sad, or whatever, if you could give me one moment of your Christmas time this year, what is the memory that you will carry with you? Yeah, Jody's saying I could use about 8 to 10 hours sleep. Yeah. We'll get it, Jody. Eventually, we'll get it. We'll make it up. Jeannie's saying, Misty, that's her dog, Misty woke me up this morning at 4 a.m. to go outside. And then we went back to sleep. Yeah. So I think that somewhere between here and New Year, we'll catch up that sleep we missed. And, you know, I also know that we've sort of got into the habit now of binge watching things. And, you know, it's like, how many of you are going, I'll be happy not to see another Christmas movie? you know, it's like, for some people, it's like, I've had enough Christmas already. And yet some of you will watch Christmas movies all through the year. And the prince, the beautiful, eligible prince that we didn't know was around. And so I just want to know what one thing would be your memory of Christmas. I also wanted to tell you that what was really wonderful is Yvonne sent me a Christmas card. And what she did is she put Kitty's stickers all inside. You know, the whole of the inside was kids' stickers. And she just wrote, the greatest gift I could give you for Christmas was for you to laugh. And I know you will laugh when you see this. And I did. And I went and I texted her and I said, thank you so much. And then it was so funny because I had delivered goodies to them. And Yvonne wrote to me a text and she said, where do we put, is it okay to put the baked goods in the fridge? And I went, no, they're meant to go in your stomach. But yes, if you can't get them into your stomach today, it's okay to put them in the fridge. Kez is saying, I fell asleep early last night and I can't remember turning the TV off, hearing my brother on the phone, super excited about the gift I gave, going to camp on Boxing Day, and I will use them. Okay, and then Sandy's saying, Sal, I just wanted to add, my kiddo had an accidental consumption at 18 months. We were waiting until he was 2. He took a bite of a peanut butter sandwich and he spat it out, really. The reaction is still bad. Had he been younger, he might not have known or had the internal voice to say, spit it out. Isn't that interesting? That the body knew it wasn't meant to have it. And did he still have a serious reaction? I guess he must have done. I immediately had the erection. Okay, so that's just from one bite. And you know, I am really glad we have this conversation, everybody. Thank you. Because, as I said, we all learn from it. Jodie's going, her memory will be the moment I will take with me is when our cathedral sang Silent Night, and also reading the loving Christmas wishes from all our friends that made my heart smile. Yes, Jeannie's saying, I've had to spit out nuts. Yeah. I must admit that I can feel, if I accidentally eat garlic, I can feel with that first bite that is, you know, that my body literally starts to react within a bite or 2 at the most. And I literally have taken food out of my mouth because of it. but it's too late. I've already been there, and I've got to make a plan. Isn't it interesting? So my favorite moment this Christmas, the one that will stick by me, is definitely singing carols around the gas fire outside in the cold. But I think the real memory will be Take 64. That really was so funny. Sandy is saying that he had hives all over his body and he scratched at his throat. We gave Benadryl and had to give multiple times. We were lucky it wasn't a worse reaction. Jeannie's saying they were served chicken salad with walnuts. Yeah, Waldorf salad, right? Oh no, chicken salad with walnuts. Yeah, it's okay, Sandy. I read typos. Don't worry. Jody always laughs at me when I do. And York called the restaurant, made them write that there were nuts in the chicken salad. Yes, because they don't realize that. I want to tell you that in my experience of being allergic to garlic, I have had all sorts of different reactions from different restaurants. I love the restaurants who hear that I'm allergic to garlic, and within minutes, I will have a chef sitting next to me, literally sitting next to me, going, tell me about your allergy. Is it life-threatening? What do I need to know? And I go, no, it's not life-threatening, but it means that I will have to leave in a hurry or that I will not be able to enjoy your food. And, and they will say, well, here's what tell me what you like to eat, and then they will literally, some restaurants will literally clean a grill completely for me. And I go, no, that won't be necessary. I'm pretty sure that if you've been grilling on it, it's pretty hot and most of it is cleaned up anyway. But for example, the keg, I do have the keg in the States. The keg will literally, if they know that I'm there and I've got a garlic allergy, they will literally completely clean the grill for me and then cook my steak. I eat there a lot. Why? I know I'm not going to have garlic. It's just like they make sure that they'll take that section of the grill and they will just clean it right off. However they do it, I don't know, but they are that serious about it. And I found that at the Cactus Club, very much like that as well. Hi, Leo. Okay, so we don't do that. Thank you, Jody. Kez is saying, I stopped eating salt and vinegar chips for a decade. When I started eating them again, the corner of my lips started to swell and tingle. Interesting. So I'm pretty sure salt and vinegar, so I wonder what else they had in there. And Jeannie's saying at an ice cream shop, people will give me a new scoop to avoid contamination with nut ice cream. Yeah. So they'll bring a fresh scoop and use it. Yeah. So you see, it's up to us. And I think that's the accountability, everybody. Let's not go without discussing that. We are accountable for making sure we are safe. It's not that, if we don't tell them, right, just because you don't expect chicken salad to have nuts in it doesn't mean that it won't. So the first thing I say to any server when they're about to take my order is, I need you to know I am allergic to garlic. I am going to tell you what I want to eat, but then you may need to come back and tell me what I can eat. In other words, maybe so much of your menu, and rather than you rushing backwards and forwards all the time, if the first thing that I want to eat, I cannot because you've got garlic in it, then come back and tell me what I can eat. And you know what I've discovered? The easiest thing for me to eat is a straight, really good strip loin steak and a very simple salad and just oil and vinegar for a dressing. And the other thing, The kid in me likes to have macaroni cheese every now and then, as long as I've made sure they haven't put garlic in it. And, you know, some people will say, who puts garlic in mac and cheese? I found one place that did. And the other one is chicken strips and fries normally don't have garlic. But then you find people that do put garlic in chicken strip seasonings. So it's like you have to ask every time, and you have to be accountable and diligent as well as them. Jeannie's saying, oh no, we've had that one. Jeannie's saying here, we went to Portugal and learned how to say allergic to fish for York and allergic to nuts for me. And then we were fine. Yes, Portugal does serve a lot of fish, you're right. Now, I can tell you that I can remember going out to dinner once with my sister when she came up to visit. And being my sister, she had to go to the best restaurant in the area. And she had researched it, you know, for months ahead because that's who she is. And then she had written to them 10 times to tell them she was bringing a sister who was allergic to garlic with her. And would that be okay? And they said, absolutely. And, you know, when we got there and I ordered, I started with, I need you to know that I'm allergic to garlic. And the server looked at me and went, you came to a French restaurant and you're allergic to garlic? And my sister just about had a cow. Hi, Erin, good to see you. Merry Christmas +1. You know, and my sister just about went apoplectic because she said, I have written 10 times and had this discussion. But, you know, again, it was shooting the wrong person, right? It was shooting the messenger. This server didn't get the 10 emails. The chef and the management did. And so I just had to leave the room because it was just so embarrassing at that point. And I just said, you know, and you can imagine that the server probably didn't have a job the next day because, you know, to make somebody with an allergy feel that they are guilty because they have an allergy is not a good customer relations thing at all. And I had it happen once at an Italian restaurant where somebody said, you know, you came to an Italian restaurant and you were allergic to garlic. And I went, yep. And you know, the funny thing was, the next thing I knew, the manager came and sat next to me and said, thank you so much for coming anyway. And I said, thank you. Now then, he said, what do you like to eat? Italian. And I went, I love to eat this, this, this. He said, no problem at all. I'm going to go and make that for you myself. And I said, and I will be back many times because of that. Thank you. You made me feel welcome, not like a leper. Roddy, thank you so much for your kind comments. It was one of my Christmas presents. I got a, you know, Roddy, this is the first time in my life I've had a Christmas sweater. And so, and by the way, it's a Mickey Mouse one. And at the bottom, it says, which I think is cute. There you go. Let me see it through here. Is that cute? I might have been naughty, but I can explain. Now, the other thing is, you guys know that I very rarely do a broadcast without my allergies affecting me. And so the question is, why do I not take my antihistamines every day? There's another discussion. How many of you think it is healthy to take antihistamines every day? And to me, I think, quite honestly, I don't know what it is in here that I am allergic to. But, you know, maybe there is some mold somewhere or something that I don't know about. So I've just got to be aware that most broadcasts, my eyes will start to water, and you will hear it in my voice. Have you noticed that? My voice starts to clam up a bit as well. but it is minor. It's not a major one, right? It's not like the garlic reaction I get. And so I look at it and go, I am so grateful to be alive this Christmas. I don't know about you guys. I am so thankful for every thoughtful card, present, um, everything that we did. I am so thankful for my neighbors at my new house, which you all know I will not be able to get back to until April. But I am so very grateful. Oh, isn't that interesting? Reddy's saying, I loved it, and I loved the beanies you sent to Judy. Thank you. I don't know, but when I saw those, I could see Judy wearing that beanie with baby Leah wearing hers, and they would be a picture unto themselves. I'm glad that you enjoyed it too. Yeah, Erin, it's interesting because Yvonne is a big Mickey fan. And when I saw this, my first reaction was, I need to give it to Yvonne. And I went, no, Sal, you don't need to give it to somebody else. You need to enjoy it yourself. Isn't it funny? But it's okay for you to find one for Yvonne for next year. Yeah, that's another thing. Yes, Judy's saying the same thing. She's thankful to be alive, that you have enough food, enough clothing, a warm place to live, and good family and friends. How many of you can say that one of the greatest gifts you got this year was to really find out who cares? Who's still in touch with you regularly, even though you can't do the usual things? Who's still thought about you this Christmas, even though, they couldn't do it the normal way? And so you look at it and go, we have a lot to be thankful for. The fact we made it to Christmas, I think every one of us needs to be thankful for. And the fact that we were able to make other people laugh or smile, we need to be thankful for. And the fact that they made us laugh, I don't think I will ever forget Take 64. And so, it's like these are the things that are important. Life is not about things. It is about the memories. And I pray that each and every one of you, live a life full of memories. We are always going to have people that frustrate us. We are always going to have people that mess with our brains. We are always going to wake up to some idiot letting off a bomb on Christmas morning. I started with it, and I'm going to tell you that I still can't see how anybody could find that a good thing to do in their minds. All right. It's just like, really bad enough to do the bomb, but to do it on Christmas morning, you've got to be some sicko to do that. Jeannie's saying, oh, sorry, we've read that already. Sandy's saying, I cannot convey how excited I am to hug my mom on Monday after almost a year. Yes, it's almost a year ago that she was over, right? After that, we saw her at a distance. Jeannie's saying, 2 sisters gave us the gifts of a hotel that accepts the dog, money for clothes. We are thankful for these 2 lovely girls. Yes, you see, and I think I can say that I was thankful at a whole different level for the simplest things this year. The gift of friendship from my neighbor at my house, all right? The continuing gift of friendship, all right? Not just when I arrived, not just the day of the fire, but every single time, there is this incredible kindness about her. And and that's why I made her the one person I was allowed to visit. I am allowed to visit one person as a single person. You are allowed to nominate one person that you can visit. So I am very glad that I did that because, it's like I need to go there twice a week to pick up my mail and check things at the house. And it was a good decision. And I said to Yvonne, I know I'm going to see less of you, but quite honestly, she was the higher risk because she goes to work every day. She had, by the way, they had coronavirus in the house. And that was an interesting thing that I was very grateful for. I found out that you can have coronavirus in your house, upper and lower. The people upstairs can all have coronavirus, 3 of them, and the people downstairs didn't get it. Isn't that interesting? Even with a shared ventilation system. And that is what the infectious disease people had told her, that just because you live in the same house does not mean you will get it. And so what I wanted to say is, we also know that you can just pass somebody in a hallway and they can cough or sneeze or talk too loudly or something, and you could end up getting it. We are so lucky to be alive, people. It is the greatest gift we were given. And I hope that you all celebrate that every day. I look forward to seeing you this evening. And for all of you that made the time to come and join us today, thank you. We learned a lot about allergies today. This is DearMamaSal saying, love you dearly. Remember, this is about let us stay accountable. Let us stay accountable for our health, our happiness, everything. It is up to us how much fun we have. It is up to us how much we choose to laugh. It is up to us how much we choose to care. And it is up to us to do the things that make us happy, not somebody else's responsibility. This is DearMamaSal saying, I'll see you this evening at 7 o'clock when we will be talking about coping with life. Bye-bye for now.